Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Ringroo, low, low, low.
And folks, we are done with SD2 Season 6 coverage, but we are taking a step back and taking a look over here at a tournament going on for the month of September. We are on Ciano. Rang, what's the tournament going on, and who's fighting on this particular battlefield today?
On left-hand side in the blue, we have Karma playing as the first Blindata Romanian division with a Maverick income. Right-hand side in the red, we have a rather dark Neutron playing as a 97 Guards infantry division with also a Maverick income.
So, one thing I'm noticing already, very, very quick artillery barrage coming on in. I know we talk about the idea that Maverick is the new meta for a lot of games, especially if you're thinking like, hey, I might as well finish this in the first 20 minutes. I don't want this game to go long term, especially for, if you're not, certain divisions here. This 152, this off map, we've been seeing a little bit kind of interesting play from people bringing in early airplanes. Now it's an off map artillery. Is this the new response to the meta for most division openings?
Yeah, I think for people playing Maverick, if you are playing Maverick, going more heavy artillery, longer game doesn't really work out. I mean, you are trying to run in 20 minutes or so just a quick, relief of high explosive firepower in a concentrated area is pretty damn nice. And we are seeing, an IL-2 do a pretty nice bombing run there, and the BF-109, I don't think he's going to be able to shoot him down, Khan. It is an IL-2.
Yeah, the con does have that reputation for a reason. But, I don't know, it's another couple hundred 20 mils on him, so I mean, potentially.
Is he trying to dogfight it?
Jeez. You know what? I always forget how ridiculously heavy that firepower is. We did miss the artillery barrage in the north, causing more than its fair share of stress and tension. We are going to get an actual Romanian bombing run going the other direction. Southern side, not looking as pretty as the north is for the Reds.
It is not. It's a really good push here from Karma. I mean, Dark Neutron tried to do early push for Yogam and Shiki, but with an actual, the Romanian infantry is really bloody good, especially the Vanatori Motos. He just managed to almost completely clear out that town, and really just the whole central area of the map. I mean, the two T4s, they are making fantastic progress, and Dark Neutron is quickly trying to plug his gap with his too.
Worth mentioning, I think the BF-109, no, BF-109 is creeping away. The IAR is not. I'm wondering if we're going to see 2 kills from the IL. Nope, okay. Just 1 kill from the IL-2. Now, looking back to the north, similarly, if the south is going well for the Romanians, the north is going rather well for the Soviets.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, Dark Neutron is making pretty decent progress here. The Vanatoris and Pioneeri, I'm a fan of the Pioneeri, not so much anymore, getting surrendered. But yeah, this is going pretty well. I'm guessing one other good off-map. It doesn't even really need the off-map barrage. There's really not much here. And the IL-2s are actually doing a pretty good job doing some strafing and lovely bombing strike here on the T-60.
Well, that's that tack. We've talked about that lovely cannon, lousy armor, and that's going to continue to cause an issue there. Yep. You are going to see one more artillery barrage. Kind of very much using a cannon to kill a mosquito kind of thing here, so I'm not entirely sure if the overall impact is really necessary. But hey, definitely going to cause some interdiction as reinforcements are rushed to that particular part of the front.
Yeah, it's actually going to probably time out perfectly. I have the reinforcements. Up north, we're seeing Karma move around a little bit with some of his Pioneeri here, but I don't really think anything will really happen up here, especially if just infantry only. Way too much open ground between you and the enemy.
Definitely would seem to be the case. Now down to the south, we are going to see the 97 that's going to bring in a secondary line of defenses. So while it is certainly true that these T4s and the Vanatori Motos have been very successful in taking that town, other than that, I don't really know how much more they're going to be really able to develop really any other push, at least within the foreseeable future here.
Yeah. I mean, at least he's got the town, which is pretty good, and he should cap at 1 flag down south, which should tip it over to a 13-11 for Karma. There we go. But as we're seeing, Dark Neutron is starting to set up a bit of a firing line on the hill, the sniper, the 76mm, and the this 2 trying to pound array. So, especially if there's this too, that should force the T4s back.
Well, that bothered me. I kind of felt and I'm always gonna gripe about this. You should not be able to take a ground attack plane into 2 anti-air positions and not be fully stressed out by the time you get there.
Yeah. LIL2 is
especially autocannons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Khan is not amused.
I'm about as unamused as the person who told me I should bring in the Gram Slam for a replay cast.
Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, man, that shot's fired right there. Like, that's definitely one way to hit it out of the park.
Khan, we talked about this in cancelling. Really, let's not talk about that name, okay?
Well, again, I wasn't the one who brought it up. It was one of our viewers. I was like, you know what? You should bring in the Gram Slam. When's he showing up for a cast? And I was like, oh, you. But you know, things are better. You know, we're civil-ish between Graham and I. So, I do want to continue this. I'm sorry. That was one of the greatest things in my life. That whole kind of nonsense. Anyway,
nonsense.
Look at the North. Nonsense. Yes, because I had to go and deal with your infidelity from a casting standpoint. I'm trying to make it as a a humorous moment here.
Okay. Let's just get past this for now. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, what I was trying to say is we're having these IL-2s just constantly coming in as these ground attack planes, as well as basically being interdicting fighters. And yeah, that's the second one of the IARs that's been shot down.
Yeah, also he's been getting some really good intercepts with those IL-2s, really taking advantage of the fighter bomber role which it can provide here. The town is not looking as great for him, Northern Town I should say. We've got the T4 and the T60 being brought in. There's that 45 mil, which is actually, in perfect position really, and at close range it is pretty deadly.
Well, and that was the thing I was going to make a comment about too. You're like, oh, it's not looking so great. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I think the 97 has this. T60, yeah, of course, because the T60, you look at it the wrong way, it's going to blow up. But outside of that, the Pioneer, you getting forced back. I think just even have that T-34 kind of backstopping that the Resvedka. Wait, was the IL-2 going down?
It crashed into a building, so I can't see the corpse.
Well, this IAR is not going to last too much longer because there's still some IL-2 on the field. Oh, jeez.
Okay. Flee, yeah, the anti-air is just enough to scare him off for the time being.
And the this is the problem. IAR is being sent back in. That is a mistake. No, don't do that.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to catch up to him in time.
Well, that's part of it right there too. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, Karma's doing pretty good so far. Nice, steady 13-11. I mean, both sides have been Maverick. I mean, it's not really too bad if it goes too late. I mean, both sides have a C-phase infantry card at least. So they are hedging their bets a bit.
That seems to be the case. I do like this Ju-87 being called in the IS Komoroti down here to the south. And interestingly, not so much if the IS-1 goes down here because, Lord knows that the IS-1 is about as safe as houses when it comes to cluster bombs, but if the IL-2s go down, you have to depend on these Cobras, which really aren't that great.
They're pretty good if they can get behind stuff, actually. They're not too bad. Yes, he has looking at his air power. It's actually pretty interesting, because Dark Neutron has much steady air power of some A and B phase cards and PU2s, of course. But Karma really only going for the A phase, like cluster bombers and IARs, so he really does not have that much in terms of aircraft. And he's already lost like a few already.
I feel like I should qualify here. I think the Cobra speed works against it with a lot of these kind of Romanian aircraft, because for the most part, they're just not fast enough to allow the Cobra to get behind it. So
they overshoot is what you mean.
Yeah, there we go. Maybe that I could have definitely been a little more detailed there, but fair play nonetheless. It is 14-10 as we're going into Phase B. There is another artillery barrage to the north. That should be the last one for that 152 off map. And looking at the Russians, that's the only one there. We might see a 132 rocket a little bit later. But this is the last major chance, I think, to shut down this resurgent Romanian push.
Yeah, nice. Looking so far to get some lovely hits so far. I mean, I'm very much liking how he's moving that massive Panzer Shrek squad up close and personal. He could potentially knock out at Radevka, which would be not a terrible kill, but nope, the Avto Comarotti is not going to be playing around.
I honestly love those quasi, let's say quasi, Panther Shrek squads. Like the anti-tank material that's still ridiculously, powerful on that interplay. So I'm also getting distracted by the JU-87 making another run on the IS-1. Is that a second one coming in behind as well? No, it's not IAR. The last of that set, I believe.
Will the clusters hit? Oh! Oh, yes.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, we spoke too soon. As usual, caster's curse.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 37 mil palm. We're trying to fight off this Zis-2 going down, but no. I never truly appreciate how fragile some of these ground attack planes are.
Yeah.
I mean, the JU-87s, of course, but the IAR, I always think is a little more robust than what it is.
No, it's a pretty dinky little... No, not super dinky, but it's no IL-2 is what I was trying to say.
What is? It's really hard to kind of say that.
It's true. It's pretty... There's not too much else really like it. Maybe like the P-47? Even then, like IL-2 just has that reputation of just being an absolute bastard to shoot down.
True. True. We have absolutely no idea whose plane begat what here, but the IL-2 is certainly a pain in the ass. And more of them just keep coming in, which is good because right now Karma continues to kind of dominate wherever his tanks are, which is really, really strange to say with T4s.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty good. I mean, with 97, doesn't have a whole lot of tanks. I mean, he has some IS-2s left and some T-34-76s, but in Siena, where it's like a decent amount of long-range firepower fights, like those T4s really do come out on top.
They certainly do, which is just, it's really weird to kind of understand that, though, too. Trying to take a... Actually, the Su-85, I'm surprised we haven't seen any Su-85s. That would have been more than enough, I think, to severely shut down, the Romanian knockoff P4s.
Yeah, especially up north. We are seeing a T-34-85. Maybe Oskin will prove to be a valid contender, but as we know of hero units, he's gonna die in like 2 shots.
Yes, sir. It's one of those like 2 sound things. The first, the shell hitting him, the second one, the tank hitting the explosion button.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's deadly nonetheless, but Karma's actually making really good progress down south. Actually getting that flag on the tip of the hill, and this is a really good position to get into, because just by staying on the bottom part of the hill, you can actually put a lot of pressure onto that flag up north here, and you don't really have to even push fully up the hill. Just as long as you hold that little ridge line there and just get into the edge of that forest, it can be really hard to actually rout someone out.
Absolutely. I am actually surprised that these machine guns are in such an excellent position. Normally, we're so used to seeing machine guns kind of being these almost point-blank positions and not really allowing them to breathe quite as successfully as they are right now.
They're definitely taking advantage of the German MG-34s and 42s at long ranges. Working pretty well. The 76mm gun is actually giving the 34 run for its money.
Yes. So that's not
makes
surprising
sense.
either.
I mean, explosives beats bullets in most situations, I'd argue.
True. But it is pinned down, and that's going to cause more than a little bit of a hassle for them right there.
It feels like Dark Neutron's really just trying to really, not hedge his bets, but put all his money on the table up north, and Karma has just been doing enough to shut it down.
Well, and Karma's bringing in a 210 off map. So that crossroads is about to disappear in an entire just bevy of Sturm und Drang that just kind of is going to rival, Paul my last visit to the bathroom. So
I can get ready to cross it off the map.
Exactly. IL-2 is going to come in, probably will kill it overall. But regardless, even if he just gets 1 barrage off with this thing, there still is, potentially 2 more over here in C.
Yeah. And in CQC, I mean, his Vanatories are pretty nasty with those MG-26 and submachine guns as well, compared to just the regular Guardia Squadge.
Absolutely. I continue to watch. It's bizarre to me to see that might be anti-air positions that run out of ammunition, engaging just air power. And the reason I find this so bizarre is that either they get killed by artillery first, or they spend a lot of their munitions kind of engaging ground targets. That has not been happening at all for Karma. 210 coming in right now. But I don't really see him using a supply truck to put more munitions on the actual anti-air positions, despite the fact that in my mind that might be, incredibly necessary.
Yeah, honestly, his training mills haven't really been doing all that much. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of them, to be fair. But he definitely needs to just, I think, get them closer to the front line. But as we're seeing in the northern town, he's rushing through the artillery. Oshkin is falling back. IL-2 coming in for some danger close fire support. This is a lovely push here from Karma.
Yeah, he might even force the surrender over here on Oshkin.
Oh,
oh no, he just goes down. Jeez.
I think like maybe a Panzer IV assault at long range, and there's a Panzerschreck now here. So holy crap, what a breakthrough here from Karma, now getting that +2 point advantage. He's in a really good spot.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you push him, that's great. But remember that Karma's going to get you in the end, so... I'm not proud of that one. I'm not proud of that one at all.
I don't think we've ever really made that joke whenever we casted Karma before, so I believe we can get away with it.
That's true, just once.
Yeah.
Just once. But it is 16-8 with that really rather stunning push. That is a 16-8. We're going into, later B phase. So what are we looking over here from the Russians? Well, maybe Automachiki? But in the town fight, it's going to be really difficult for the Automachiki to find any true expression without, T-34s to kind of soak or some artillery to kind of drop some cover for them.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty hard because those T-Force and Panzer Force, it's kind of funny how they're in the same unit, really. Should be able to beat the T-34-76s at long range, of course. And that's to shut down any approach into the town, which should probably force Dark Neutron to get S-35s, maybe an IS-2, or a ZIS-2 in this case for some long-range heavy AT. But even then, just getting back into that town in this current predicament is going to be a pain. And I'm having a feeling Karma's going to try and wrap his way up north here through these forests.
Kind of occurring to me right now, why doesn't Dark Neutron just work down the Hourglass Forest that's right there, with a couple of these squads to hit in the flank? I feel like even putting a guard squad over here to help support, or heck, to bring down the Maxim to maybe engage some of the material coming down, especially as the P4s move further and further east, they're taking them further and further out of the usefulness of kind of even isolating that northern side.
Yeah.
So you might as well use the troops.
Yeah, just getting some armor, like if you do like a northern push, yeah, just even getting some tanks. There we go, some T-34-76s can definitely help out. He really needs to make something happen now. Because I don't think he's not going to be able to take back the northern town. Yeah, there's way too much stuff here. And yeah, this is really not looking good here for Neutron.
Heck, I mean, down south we have these T4s, that are engaged in this guard squads and forcing them to abandon their rides way too soon. Yes, the T4 goes down, but who cares? Again, all of this is just a play for time.
Yeah. Actually, Dark Neutron might have enough to actually take his southern town. There's really no anti-tank here. There's no anti-tank. And he has his IS-2.
There isn't, but there's also going to be this massive push of material to the north.
Oh god. Karma's really going all in up here. All like companies worth, all platoons worth of Vanatories.
And there we go. We have ground strikes hitting the northern positions, and now I just feel like just missed an opportunity.
Oh. Oh no, it hasn't felt like Dark Neutron's like bombing strikes have really been all that effective. Like he's been doing them a lot, but it doesn't feel like it's really done enough to actually stop any of like Karma's pushes or really get any super key units.
Well, I think the biggest issue that's been happening here is that Dark Neutron has been using them to arrest momentum, but he hasn't really made a big push on the end of it. So like this IL-2 coming in, he's not going to get the bombs off in this case, but my imagining is he would hit with the Pioneer, one of the other squads, but then he wouldn't try to follow up on that.
That's a good point. It's like with off-map artillery, where you shoot you off-map, and then it's like, oh, well, they're blown up now. I can just leave those buildings be.
Like down to the south, for example, we saw an MG go down from from another IL-2 strike. Now what can happen? Well, we have Superior moving westward. It's going to take this crossroads, or at least be able to engage the Pioneery, which is supremely necessary. You have to be able to follow up any kind of movement that you make.
Yeah, and I really do like his push down south here from Doug, because he's actually he's gonna be able to take his town pretty easily. But the problem is Karma has so much momentum up north. He's also moving a little bit down south here, getting to that flag just south of the lake, and far up north. I mean, he just has. He really put all his eggs in his basket here, with just the amount of infantry and tanks that he has. I mean, it's gonna hurt him down south, but I feel like he'd be able to at least slow down his southern push.
Well, JU-87 coming in, watch him get at least 1 kill, potentially 2, depending on his first one. Never mind, just 1 kill.
Yeah.
Could have been fascinating to see him get 2 there. But...
That'd be too good.
Exactly. Exactly. IL-2 coming in for some revenge. But I think there's more than enough potential ground fire between 37 and the SDK at 7-1.
Yeah. Yeah, Karma definitely has a pretty heavy anti-aircraft force now in place.
It is worth mentioning, there is some anti-air positions being taken out to the south. As T-76 has gotten behind the front lines.
Ooh. Nice.
The 75 mil. Savior? Oh, not quite yet, but I think he's going to get that kill in this next shot. Yep. And that moves the major danger on that southern flank.
Yeah. Like a really nice push here from Dark Neutron, but it just feels like it's not going to be enough. I mean, he's very close to retaking the one flag down south, but in the town, but even then, I mean, just the northern side is not completely collapsed, but it feels like it's getting to that point.
Well, then, unfortunately, too, he's fallen into that predilection, I think, that we all fall into sometimes, where it's like, shoot, my opponent is attacking me with everything, I have to meet him with strength. So we're throwing Tanko Desant Niki in there, which unfortunately is not the best thing for them, because there's no smoke, there's no covering fire for them.
Yeah, well, at least one of them manages to bail out before getting shot by the Panzerschreck. And the other one's actually going to be able to take that flag and get into a good position, but I mean, Karma has this reserve force of infantry back here. I don't know if he did that on purpose or not.
I'm going to say he did, but that's just because I feel like Karma is waiting for these tanks to come on up here, and then he's going to send the infantry back in.
But even then, like, Karma can just hit from the southern flank here. Oh, he neutralizes it. Dark Hats, he neutralized it to a 12-12. Not bad.
For now. For now.
Oh yeah,
this is. I'm not saying this is, you know, over per se, but let's think about what's happening here. We have IL-2s and a Cobra going after an IAR. There's IL-2s, like you said before, are premier ground attack plane. Use them for being an attack plane. So.
And there's too much. Yeah, there's too much anti-air up north. And he also bunts those IL-2s up, so they're getting AOE'd on the suppression. The flag down south where the Guardia DP is going to flip back over. And yeah, 6 minutes left in the clock here for Mr. Neutron.
Well, indeed, honestly, even if the Superior goes down to the T-34-76 where this cluster bomber is going, that should be more than enough to potentially even flip that flag back over to the Venatori.
And then up north here, yeah, the tanks is clearing it up, and there we go, we're back down to a +2 very quickly.
So this Infantry's Reserve doesn't get activated here as we kind of go into the, call it the evening of this replay. I don't think that Dark Neutron's going to pull this one back out. How about we go to a ×2 at 24:35?
Sounds good.
But, you know, with that kind of in mind, ×2,
yep.
We're going to be seeing, I think, Karma pulling out the W here, which is, again, fascinating, because I felt like the early game here was everything but Dark Neutrons to lose. Unfortunately, I feel like he did lose it.
Yeah, he definitely got too much tunnel vision in that northern town, and it just, he wasn't trading efficiently there. Karma captured South fantastically, and then he did that counterattack of the off map in that town, and that just really sealed the deal. I feel like maybe if Dark Neutron was pushing a little bit heavier, like far north earlier, with just some T-34-76s throwing some Superiors, that would be a good raid to throw Karma off from actually, his aggression down south. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Romanian infantry is like very good in CQC. You don't want to be messing about with them.
Certainly not. And there's the reserve. Off map comes in. Yep, he's going to lose a couple of spots, I'm sure, to kind of debarking. But that's the reserve up to the north.
Yep.
There we go. You're not going to be able to engage that with any amount of time. So, I mean, really, really interesting play. Usually, it's you bring in infantry and you deploy them immediately because you have to. And it's very, very refreshing, at least for me, to observe a case where we have, let's say, an experience where it's not this immediate thrown onto the front lines. It is an operational group.
Yeah, it's like how in real life you keep units in reserve to plug gaps. It's actually cool to see it actually being reflected in game.
Certainly, and I mean, 132 off map is pounding those poor Romanians a little bit further to the south. Might even see a surrender here. Nope, no surrender. Never give up. Never surrender.
And wow, really close on KD. Like only 100-point difference here.
But yeah, I mean, but think about it though too. This was not a vehicle fight. This was an infantry fight.
Indeed. Looking at kills, I might have to take back what I said about IL-2s not being that effective. I forgot they shot down lots of aircraft.
Well, yeah, the 23 mils are definitely going to be very, very.
Yeah, I thoroughly take that back now in hindsight after seeing this.
And we have Petichkin over here killing. That was a T-34 that was down to the south. But you mean, on the other side, the Romanians just kind of working as a team overall. Not a whole lot of standouts. To be fair, there wasn't a whole lot of standouts over on the Soviet side either. But just at the end of the day, I just think it was one of those kind of, it came together for one side today, and it just unfortunately did not for the other one.
Yeah, but, I mean, Dark Neutron was really, fighting to the end, yeah. He didn't just give up, like, he had a little glimmer of hope when he brought it back down to the Trove, but alas, I mean, Karma just really good battle group up north.
That's true. That's true. I mean, you really just say he kind of adapted on the fly. He kind of made himself really blend into the new circumstances. You really could say he was a Karma chameleon. But
he just comes and goes, Khan. He just comes and goes.
He just comes and goes, man. But as we take a step back into some of our viewers' childhoods with that pop culture reference, that's going to call it, I think, the quit for our first coverage of the September monthly tournament here. I think Thursday's got another one coming up, right?
Yep.
Excellent. So, folks, until that comes back around, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.